I thought Battlefield's esports days were long behind it, but 2042's new game mode Shutdown provides players with a really fun 8v8 high-skill match format. Shutdown is part of 2042's Season 4 event called Leviathan Rising, which includes new assignments, free skins, new store items, and of course this new game mode. The event's not bad actually, and it's a nice change if you want something a bit more tight-knit and tactical from Battlefield rather than the gigantic warfare modes. Now Shutdown is a fun new take on sort of a bomb defusal type mode. The attacking team has 2 lances that they have to plant at 3 objectives to secure the points. Once planted, the lances cause an EMP effect to the objective area that scrambles the HUD and burns out the enemy's data drives or something like that. It's a cool looking effect and can actually impact the gameplay since it triggers electronics in the areas to spark and smoke. The defenders need to disable the lances and then prevent the enemy team from picking them up or rearming them. The longer the lance is down, the more points the attackers get. Every point scored is permanent and you can get a total of 30 points per objective. Shutdown is played in 2 7-minute rounds and the teams swap sides at halftime. Once both rounds have been played, each team's score and time is tallied up. Whoever scores more objective points or has the better time wins. As an example, if the attackers score 36 points in 7 minutes for the first round, the next team just has to score more than 36 points in less than 7 minutes to win. This means that the second round doesn't necessarily have to last for 7 minutes if you score the amount of points needed. It's a clever evolution to the traditional domination and defusal modes, and like most small tactical modes, it's highly dependent on your teammates. If they aren't pulling their weight or not on strategy, it can be frustrating, but the actual combat and objective placement allows for some really enjoyable engagements. At the start of the map, there's 3 objectives to choose from for 2 different lance placements, which can keep the defenders guessing on where the attacking team's going to go. However, if you completely destroy one of those 3 objectives, you're now down to 2 to pick from, and if another is destroyed beyond that, the defenders can pretty much set up and camp on a single point. Basically, the round gets more challenging for the attackers as you progress. Now, due to the complete lack of vehicles, different classes stand out a bit more than the traditional game modes. Falk is of course still a staple of combat, and reviving is going to be essential to keep your pushes alive, but the intel classes like Pike are also extremely useful here. The spawn beacons and smoke grenades are also going to be very important for making progress and pushing up. It's fun to see the infantry classes work on a smaller scale, and some of the maps also play much better than others. Stranded is a bit of an annoying one. With predictable flanks, it can be quite easy for the defenders to create a nearly impenetrable defense, similar to how it plays on Breakthrough. But the more open maps that allow for more flanking routes tend to be fun most of the way through. Still, the smaller modes are subject to bigger discrepancies in player skill, and if that happens, it can get frustrating when you feel unable to achieve a victory. Sometimes one team just has the better players, and that's that. Despite its small size, the spawn-in time is quick and the combat can be intense, so the kills aren't necessarily that much slower when compared to a big mode. Now, the unlocks that you'll get from playing Shutdown are pretty legit, I gotta say. The weapon skins and Pike skin actually look quite good, and the new store cosmetics are fun, sort of a middle ground between tactical and theatrical, which is sort of in line with the game's overall theme. There's a new free item in the store, and the rest of the store-bought cosmetics also seem pretty good. I'm liking the cyberpunk wire ribbons on the assault rifles. It just makes them feel a little more futuristic. Now, with this new event comes a patch for the game, which has also added all chat as a feature. Now you can say friendly things to players on the other team, like nice kill, good game, nice teabag, cool dance you did on my dead body, you're clearly cheating, you suck, and whatever other wonderful profanities, racial slurs, and bigotry you can think of. Obviously, you shouldn't do that, and I'm not recommending it, but I think we all know what it's going to be used for. And so does DICE, as all chat is turned off by default. You actually have to go into your settings to enable it, so most people will probably be unaware of this feature's existence. As far as mid-season events go, this is a nice change of pace from Season 3, where we played a single map the entire time. This mode is broken up into 4 different maps over 2 weeks, so DICE is learning. Map variety equals good. I do, however, think that DICE could further drive some of 2042's narrative elements with these events. This one's supposed to sort of tie into Camila Blasco a little bit more, since I guess she was from Leviathan Unit or something like that, but it doesn't really do much to further flesh out who she is or what the world is like. And the mode kind of throws us back to some of the same old data recovery / destroy these data drives plot points, which again is fairly bland without any real context of why exactly that's important. And as there have been further data mines now to suggest a stronger possibility of a full Year 2 content support and 4 more seasons for the game, I would hope that DICE are planning to figure out their storyline a little bit better if that is the case. The data drive plot point makes no sense to me still, and they still haven't really progressed the satellite weapon plot either. I figured it would become some sort of mass EMP weapon or ion cannon that maybe you could activate in a round, but I don't know if they've just given up on that entirely. Patch-wise, this update made a handful of small fixes, but no real balance tweaks, which is a bit disappointing. There's still a lot of the game that needs a lot more pushing and pulling to get it to play better, and to see a patch go out without addressing any balance issues is a little underwhelming. Though I guess the main point of this update was to just get the game mode and events off the ground and not promote other major changes quite so much. In the short term, this event is a lot of fun. That said, I don't think Shutdown really has a lot of staying power. I'm glad that DICE made this mode, and it's cool that they developed a new pickup asset around it that creates this cool EMP field, but chances are the mode just won't maintain if left in the game permanently, so the deployment strategy makes sense with it being limited and tied to skin unlocks. I still think Battlefield's esports days are behind it, and these sort of tight-knit, smaller game modes aren't really going to do much to make it a compelling environment for gamers to come back to compete in. Now, the discarded rework coming at the end of the month seems like a much bigger deal to me anyway. If 2042 has shown us anything, it's that bad map design can absolutely ruin a game, and the discarded rework looks like it's getting an impressive overhaul. And I do think that these map reworks are actually having a big effect on the overall enjoyment of the game and player retention. According to Steam charts, the game is adding more players per month than ever before. It's not an astronomical leap in total players or anything like that, but it's consistent growth that shows DICE's updates are doing their job and people are actually giving the game a chance again. People that I used to play Battlefield games with on the regular but haven't played with them since 2042's launch are now hopping back on board, and I'm finding myself in many more matches with friends that I haven't played with in a long time. If the massive updates to DICE's infrastructure really have changed the way that they approach game development and game support, I think there's a pretty good chance that we will be getting a full second year of content. And I'm curious to hear where you guys stand. I've heard a lot more positive things said about 2042 these days. I don't think anybody's arguing that it's like the GOAT or anything like that, but it's definitely a lot of fun to play. Some of the modern features I appreciate much more over the older features, and I definitely notice them if I ever go back and play one of the older Battlefield games. What do you guys think about this seasonal update? Are you enjoying the new mode? Do you enjoy the new cosmetics? Do you think DICE should have a year or two worth of content, or should they just cut and run and focus entirely on the next game? Personally, I think they should be able to do both. Next up, check out my video that's showcasing some of the last major balance changes that I think DICE needs to do to 2042 to get it into the sweet spot. They're very close, and I think some small tweaks could really improve the game in massive ways. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.